We're on live on 2 TikToks and on 2 YouTubes and 3 Facebooks.
So we got to rule that one roll, son.
Just a young gun with a quick view. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follow-up. Pick the box, the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was like late before the thunder.
What's up? Okay.
People laughing in my classes while I was screaming for the masses. Who do you think you are? I'm not being a big star. Say you're basic, say you're easy. You walk riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were climbing in the nosebleed.
All right. What's up? What's up, everybody? Let's get going. Recording. Welcome to Enlightened Masculinity podcast. I'm Yogi Chris, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, captain of IMC Nation, streaming to you from IMC Base 1 Stoic Temple here in San Jose, California. This is another episode of the great line of episodes on Enlightened Masculinity that you could find on all the podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon. I don't even know. It's like 16 different ones. Staff put it on there, so it's great. And so if you're catching this recording, then leave a review, follow, all that stuff. So today I was going to talk, there's a lot of ideas that came to me. You know, we're starting to go to Los Angeles regularly now with AZD. AZD starting gatherings there. What's up? Yeah, you're in Sacramento, dude. We got a base in Sacramento. Come to San Jose, you know. We got all kinds of stuff. Come here, train, come for a weekend. Okay, so we're regularly going to Los Angeles now. San Jose will be a base for residency where guys come and tighten their process. The program is called Living the Process. You got to tighten your process of living to be a player and sustain that, to sustain your player's lifestyle for a long time, indefinitely, to hold down multiple relationships in a healthy way that is not just openly fucking everybody and it's a hippie commune and whatever, and you don't hold shit down and you don't grow, all right? The limit of your growth will be going from like some confined religious upbringing where sexuality is so taboo to expanding where it's like not taboo, and there'll be some growth in that, but there's a lot of out ethics in that too, because there's a lot of ethics in old religious doctrine. And so you'll feel bad about yourself. It won't work out. Like I've seen that happen left and right. I came from the yoga community, and originally I titled this show when I promoted it as My Path from Spirituality, how spirituality led me to game. And this game that we do is very spiritual. So much inner awareness, inner work, how mindset, frames of mind, and perspectives about so many things, life and women and everything. It just changes how you relate with life. And so the yogi or the spiritual person, not just yogis, but all kinds of spiritual practices, but the spiritualist is barely, if at all, changing how they're relating with people. They're doing a lot of stuff inside. They're looking for signs and numerology and in the stars and in the rune stones and in the tarot cards and all that stuff, but they're not changing how they relate with people. And so they're trying to make sense of their world, but they're confused. They've been miseducated. And I see it so much on, like, when we're replying to TikTok comments. When I was just, MasterMyCellf is on Zoom right here. When I was looking at those comments, I sent you a screenshot, and then I went and read those comments. I was like, oh, I see why I didn't reply to those. I went ahead and replied to them. It's just amazing how brainwashed people are when they perceive or when they see this. Like, there are pickup artists that don't believe Arash has 7 girlfriends. They think it's fake. And let alone guys that aren't even in pickup, guys that are just out there in TikTok world or whatever. Like, it's just not real to them. And they can't hardly help themselves but hate and throw out, like some dumbass that says, I can tell a person who's on meth when I see one. Really, dude? Because I live with the dude. He's not on meth at all. So if you're saying that with such certainty, what else are you bullshitting yourself about? If you're saying that you can definitely tell when someone's on drugs or not, and you're trying to say that the guy in the clip is on drugs, and I know for 100% fact he's not on drugs, then what else are you wrong about in your life? So much. So, and that goes for everybody, because he's just the one that commented. There's tons of guys that they'll think that I'm on drugs right now because I smoked a little weed. But and if you want to call that a drug, whatever. But that's just slow me down. Like, if I'm going so fast, like weed would slow me down. I'd be going a fucking mile a minute. You know what I'm saying? So guys out there, don't look for the masses to applaud you. They're not going to get it. Just look for your brothers to get it on this. The planet, the culture, the people, it's not in a good condition. I am just continually astounded at how bad a condition everybody's in. Just in their own mind. They're looking at their mind. They're not looking at life. They're living in their mind. They're not living in life. You'll know this if you go into nature and you learn how to commune with nature and you start perceiving, you start journaling what you're perceiving, and you start seeing that what you're perceiving changes as you look at it more, as you start perceiving nature around you, objects around you. It's organic, right? Because if you're in nature, the leaves are blowing in the wind, the grass is moving slightly, the clouds are moving. It's organic. It's a shifting picture versus inside your four walls. Nothing is shifting. It's all stationary. Your brain didn't evolve in a stationary environment. It was all organic, unless you were like in a shelter. Even then, the roof might shutter, or you were in a cave. Okay, but still, it's organic. Like, I'm in my house right now. I don't even hear the traffic. The sound is constant unless I put it there. I play a song or something, or I hear myself breathe. So it's like that in relationships too. People, they have these rigid rules and ways of thinking. They're not organically living. They're living in their mind about things. And it's just amazing how deep that is, how stuck to it they are. And when I look out at TikTok, like I'm criticizing some of the comments. There's also some amazing comments. It's amazing if you guys ever get a chance, because the TikTok are the most viral, is our most viral outlet right now. So there'll be videos with 500,000, 1 million views, so many with 100,000 or tens and tens of thousands of views. So some of those have a lot of comments on them. And you'll see some amazing comments, guys that are like, because these clips with the Rosh will be like, how to break up with your girl or whatever. And, and the idea is that if she's disobedient, if she's not being a proper reflection of you, get rid of her. And it's amazing. The girl will correct herself. She's looking for a standard. The guy hasn't been putting any standards on her, or she'll leave. And when she does that, the psychology is clear. The experiment has been done over and over and over again by AZD. And then now the student body, it's done so many times. Myself, it's happened that she doesn't try to fix it. She's got another option. She doesn't try to fix it. She's got another option. Not always is that a guy, but it's always survival oriented. She's measuring some other option is better survival for her than being with you. And that's just a fact that guys aren't facing. They're succumbing to her demands because they don't want to lose her, thinking that they have a loyal woman. They don't. So you'll see guys in these comments or whatever, and they'll be like, I did it. And, a bunch of great things happen. She fixed her behavior. There'll be something about, some clip about multiple women, just a soundbite of him saying it once. And there'll be a guy saying, I used it. Now I have 2 girlfriends. He didn't have 2 girlfriends. Now he has 2 girlfriends. What does that mean? It means he was sleeping with 2 women. All right. So already above average game. It's nothing to applaud really in our community. That's regular for guys. They have multiple women, but he's being secretive with both of them. He goes and tells the truth to each one. Listen, I'm going to be with multiple women. If you don't want to be with me anymore, still friends because I wasn't being honest with you. But from now on, if you're going to be with me, this is what I expect. Blah, blah, blah. It was like that kind of soundbite from AZD. Dude goes and does it. Both girls comply. Listen, I'll be with you even if you're with her. And the other one says, I'll be with you even if you're with her. Boom. From a soundbite. How long was that guy going to go before he figured it out on his own? We're waking up the planet for how to properly relate between men and women. It's not that the man has to be with multiple women. It's that he has to be honest. And it's not that he has to be honest. It's that you'll do better if you're honest. There was a guy, so I am, and notice the difference in that grammar from Camilo, you have to be honest, versus you'll do better in life if you're honest. I'm not telling you how to be or how not to be. So this guy, we're going to Los Angeles once a month now. So I'm going through my phone on all the IMC guys I have contacts. Because years ago, AZD was doing pickup events with Vince Kelvin in Los Angeles. For a couple of years, he did it like every month. And so I'd be there. I met guys. They were in the pickup community. I'd save them as IMC or LA IMC, whatever. John Jones, LA IMC. So we're going back to LA now. And I decide to go through my phone. And I see all these LA IMC, whatever. So I start messaging guys. And it's really interesting. Some guys don't reply. Some guys are replying positively. A lot of the guys are dropouts because I've already talked with them before and they've been involved with some programs to some extent, some of them, and then they drop out for whatever reasons. I don't know why guys drop out because there's no better options out there to learn game, to learn lifestyle. I don't know what you're going to, unless you want to be married and have kids, and then you can maybe learn from some married guy, and you think that you're not going to learn from AZD because he's not married and he doesn't have kids. So why would you learn about marriage? And the fact is that he's still better at relating to a woman as wife and better at relating with kids. And I see it in the kids classes. I've learned how to teach kids more. I taught kids. I taught wrestling camps for 4 years. It wasn't like a degree in kids or whatever, but it's not like degree in teaching kids does anything. People with degrees suck at what they get degrees in. I know I have 3 degrees. A bachelor's, a master's, a PhD. I suck at all of those things. And I was the best in the world at my PhD discipline. And I suck at that thing. I'm telling you. Out of 500 graduate students the world over in that discipline, I was voted number 1. It's because I'm good at that subject, but what that subject is supposed to do, I'm not good at. Because the subject is taking away from the actual thing. Like people that get business degrees, that's not the same thing as doing business. People that get teaching degrees, that's not the same thing as teaching. People that get teaching degrees suck at teaching. People that get business degrees suck at business. Now, that's generality. If it was 80 or 90%, it would be plenty. So what if 10% don't suck at business? Why do 90% suck at business if they're getting business degrees? They shouldn't suck at business. It should be like 2% suck at business if they get a business degree. Get it? The education is a miseducation. And so the world, they've been educated that about men and women, and they've been duped so many times by the media and commercials and so many things. And of course, all the guys online and whatever, they have this desire for multiple women or whatever. Right on. Thanks for liking. Everybody smash the like on TikTok. Lots of people participating. Nobody's liking on this one. On this one, everybody's participating. Dang. And that guy is, dang. It's just amazing. These guys, these are dropouts that I'm communicating with. And I'm getting, because the reason they dropped out is because they got into some kind of disagreement or conflict. Most of the time with me, because I'm running a lot of the business. Sometimes it's going to be something AZD says, like about a demon or about Jesus or whatever, that they just, Scientology, they just can't handle that shit. And then other times it's a miscommunication with someone else. Like Oracle had a miscommunication with this guy that just messaged, and that's why he's gone, I think, because nothing else bad happened. And so it's amazing when a person has a disagreement like that, and it's, it's a big, it's vulnerable for a guy to open up and request to learn about game. It's like this other dropout was telling me. It's like to learn game, you have to admit that you're weak, that you got it wrong. And so it forces the person into the frame of like they're wrong. Well, yeah. Why would you buy anything? Because you're lacking without it. That's why you'd buy it. And when it comes to self-improvement, if you were going to take communication classes, relationship classes, if you're going to psychotherapy, if you're going to, shit, dude, if you're going to learn anything socially, it's because you want to be better. You're not as good as you know you could be. So you're I don't know what he's trying to prove it that. Why would anybody buy anything if it wasn't to make them better? You're actually a loser for not buying it, just so that you don't think of yourself as a loser. Like, dude, let go of your ego. God wants you to improve. Now, if you're coming at it and you're buying self-improvement because you're just so insecure without it, yeah, you got big insecurity problems, dude. Hopefully your self-improvement path will show you that you don't have to be insecure to seek self-mastery, mastery in relationships. Another dropout, he's talking about how game is manipulative, how you're just manipulating women and you're faking it, that you're lower value and you're just faking that you're high value. Man, that is, where did you get that? You couldn't have gotten that here. You must have been studying something else. Because that's not what this is. That's why if you show, it was this other guy, the guy that Oracle had conflict with. And he's talking about pickup. And I'm like, dude, there's not a pickup artist on earth that would show up to AZD's class and think to himself, this is a class about pickup. No pickup artist would show up to AZD's class and be like, what a great pickup class. Afterwards, they might say, what a great class. They'll probably learn things about women and that they never would have learned in a pickup course. But it's not a pickup course. He's not teaching pickup because that's what pickup is teaching, is these social hacks to bypass her perception of your low value. At the best case scenario, it's to accelerate her perception of your high value. And what's so wrong with that? If you had $1 billion, trillion, infinity dollars, you'd still only have 100 years to enjoy it, unless you cloning, whatever. But I like within the limits of what I know of technology for certain. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. You couldn't buy more time. You'd still be quality. You can't buy more time. So if something accelerates the courtship process, not in a wrong way, not in a way that makes her feel violated. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not just saying 10 seconds later you grab her and you fucking rape her and you accelerated the courtship process. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying some guys might take 10 years for her to, start to like him, for him to grow on her. And some guys might take 2 years and some guys might take 6 months. And what's to measure 6 months? Because what if it's one interaction a week for 5 minutes every week for 6 months? Then it only adds up to a few hours versus you're hanging out, talking on the phone 30 minutes a night every day for 6 months. That's different. So it's not just about that duration. It's all the accumulated time you've interacted with the person. What's wrong with accelerating her perception of your high value, accelerating her attraction? You're a man and you only have so much time. And she only has so much time. How much time of hers are you going to waste because you don't know how to transfer your certainty to her? You're certain that you're the right guy. Why isn't she certain? Well, you got to sell her on it. How do you sell her on it? It's not going to be, let's set up a meeting next Tuesday for 15 minutes so I can go over the finer points, the bullet points of the pros and cons of this MasterMyCellf package that I have for you. This Camilo package I have for you. I've designed a special Blood of Luna package. These are guys on Zoom right now. A Blood of Luna package for you. And I'm going to pitch it to you next Tuesday at 2:15. You can put it on credit, make payments there. Your Blood of Luna's right there. So, no, but that's the pickup, is you sell her on you. The seduction, you sell her on you. That's where the pickup falls short. Pickup guys, they get girls, but they can't sell her on ongoing, on a life with you, because they don't really have a life for her. It's not for her. They don't really have a life that she would want to be a part of. They got her with pickup lines and gambits and things that were alter ego, that they were living two lives. Their real life is not that attractive to the girl. Most guys' lives are not attractive to women. Man, okay, so what do we got there? We got a bunch of people on TikToks. I don't know if I see any comments. Guys, send your comments, blast your likes, share the video. I'm Yogi Chris. I run IMC Nation, at least the advanced side of things for the men. I run IMC Base 1, you could say. I run the camps. I run these TikToks. I live with AZD, the founder of IMC Nation. So that's what, these accounts, you're seeing clips of AZD, but right now you're looking at me. That's because I run it. We got IMC guys here on Zoom. Got some YouTubes going. Let me check that. See, I think I'm supposed to be able to see comments here. IMC TV in the house. Oh, there's the chat. Hey. Read and reply to messages from multiple platforms here. Nice. Okay. Cool. All right. So where do we take it from here? Yeah, so the guys, like base 5. Some of these guys are in base 5. We have 5 official bases in IMC, 2 unofficial bases, and another one coming online. It doesn't have residence, but it was just purchased. So soon to be 8 bases and more to come. So base 5 is in Phoenix. It may never go really noticed how much effort it takes for you to succeed, except maybe by other guys who had to walk that path too. There's no marketing gimmicks here. Like, you actually have to be of value, make yourself invaluable, irreplaceable, and then put in the extra work. A lot of lonely nights, but you find freedom in your duty. You find purpose in your duty. You find self-mastery in your duty. And you just do it until you drop. And then you keep leveraging opportunities as they come. Stay persistent. Smoke however much weed and drink however much coffee you need to get through it. And you just fucking grind through it. As long as you're still studying this stuff, it's going to keep freeing you up. You will naturally apply it as you learn it. And you also need to. This is what I was telling Camilo. You don't need to do anything. But you will accelerate faster through this evolution of yours if you nudge it along a little bit. That's where you go streaming. If you don't have streams, join other people's streams. Coordinate. Should not be downtime and drifting through the day. And this would be very interesting, actually, since I have you guys on Zoom. Let's make it a little bit more participatory. It's a very fun word to say if you don't ever say it. Camilo, I recommend practicing saying that word, participatory. You'll do well. Okay, so we have guys on Zoom. Do you want me to ask you a question, or do you just have any feedback top of mind?
No, maybe some updates about maybe some girls, or for
What would
example.
You want me to give you an example of a girl?
No, for give my update. So maybe,
Oh, yeah.
for example.
Go ahead. Now this gets posted publicly, so you may not want to name any names.
Yeah, perfect. So, for example, this girl.
This is Camilo, everybody, by the way. Immigrated from Colombia to San Jose. Just found a job, made it happen, got in a car accident, injured his back. Fuck it. He fixed it and got 2 jobs. He's been on Alpha Academy for like a year. He's done a few camps, and he's been out with us, I think, once or twice. Camilo.
Thank you, Yogi. Yeah. For example, I haven't been talking too much with this girl, but this week, or for example, actually this week, we start talking again, like more, like too much. I think it's too much.
Oh.
So, but good. For example, tomorrow we're going out, but I don't want to show like too much interested, like be like a little bit low profile. But I get too anxious, and I get like, so, and I don't know, some advice for tomorrow.
When do you think you'll get too anxious?
When I saw her, when we start talking, or when we are out.
Well, that is the practice then. Don't think about getting further or going further with a woman if you're not comfortable. First, get comfortable, learn to relax, use her as practice to relax. If you like the girl, if you think she's pretty, then yeah, she's going to make you like, that's what guys do. They go unconscious. They lose awareness because there's no reason to be anxious. She should be anxious around you. When it's done right, she's a little anxious around you.
I don't know. Yeah, for example, I know she's like also like, for example, the other day she only took me because she was angry and was like a little bit sick. So that's good, but bad, because she only thinks because she was needing a favor, but only also because knows that I'm like the proper dad that can go there and bring her food and makes the mission.
Yeah, you'll learn. I mean, girls will take advantage of you if you let them. And
Yeah.
that's part of, you be of value, and that's where you have the friendship on things, because you wouldn't necessarily feel like she was taking advantage of you if you were just friends with her. It's like, it's the idea that she's going to owe you something in the future because you were kind to her today. That's where you'll start feeling like you got taken advantage of. You owe me your pussy or something like that. That's just not what it is. So not coming at it like that, only going out of the goodness in your being, and, understand that you're playing the game. Like, once you know that, what I just said, you can play the game of I'll be of service to her, because in fact, it does make a woman feel more towards you if you provide for her, if you help her, if that, like, there's a reason why guys do that, is because it actually works. So you can do that as a move in the chess game. Just don't be so attached to it being reciprocated, because that's the game. Her game is just to allow it. What's up?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Would love to hear how it plays out. All right. Anybody else here on Zoom? Enlightened Masculinity Podcast. You guys on TikTok get to hear it. Who are you? I'm Yogi Chris. I live with AZD. I run this account. Who is you, nigga? Dang. I'm white and I'm practicing my niggas. This is not the Mexican OG. Neither is AZD, man. He's not Mexican. You guys are funny. Okay. Nothing else? Should I ask questions? Because we got guys live here, so I'll talk to them. Adrian Garcia, you live in Base 4, Vegas. Man. It was not 3 years ago you lived with your parents in New Jersey, and you've lived in multiple bases now with IMC guys. What could you say about your evolution from 3 years ago? You remember you were like real curly-headed. I remember you made that Telegram video early in the morning. You were running around the track, sweating. What can you say of this evolution in the last 3 years? And if you have, if you've noticed that you've any difference between how you perceive like your old friends or the people that you grew up around? Okay, the first thing I should ask is who's able to talk, because I think he might be on.
Sure. There's been a lot of changes.
Oh man, yeah, reception.
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. It's choppy.
You can't hear me now?
Kind of, not really.
Okay. There have been a lot of changes, but I mean, like there's been a lot of ups and downs in evolution.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to you, Adrian. Okay. Let's see. MasterMyCellf. Here you are. Blood of Luna. Base Phoenix. IMC Base Phoenix. So you guys are regularly going out now. And what's it like there in Phoenix? What's it like living with the base of guys now?
It's dope, man. It's it's the evolution of, is the echo? Yeah, it's the evolution of living, like it's something that I think a lot of men have no idea what it's like to live in a base, just be around other men that have standards and certain disciplines and spiritual practices, things of that nature. It's just like, it's I'm very grateful, very blessed to be in a position to do it, and to be at the forefront of it and to continue to do it, in the midst of all the changes and transformations that I see all of us going through. I was talking earlier on we have base meetings,
base meeting.
I was talking about just being aware of our accounting, being aware of our finances, being aware of where money's going, where your energy's going, production, things of that nature. Like, that's something that you wouldn't get in a college, dorm room or college, household. If you will, like, just as a comparison, so like we're grown men and we choose to live a certain way. We have certain standards and procedures and whatnot, that we live with. So I love it, man. It's changed, so much in me as a character, and I love, being able to connect to, the environment that is around us, like, 10P is its own city in comparison to, Scottsdale. And, there's just these whole different worlds that we can really tap into and create.
Yeah, a lot becomes available to you when you have so many guys, you pull your resources.
Yeah.
Now you can live in a higher class area of town, and you can afford a place where you have the living room amongst yourselves. You don't have to partition the house. You have a yard and all this stuff. So you have the space, the same kind of space you might have if you're living at your parents', but you now have all the freedom of expression of living with your brothers like a sleepover, but every night of the year.
Right, exactly.
Then the next level is making that money. Because you make that money, if you make that money doing this stuff, like it was once a dream for me, just a vision, that all day my communication lines were only IMC Nation guys, because I had to make business for myself. So I was a PhD student, and I was contacting yoga studios and other just individuals. I was selling mostly private lessons in the beginning. And so I noticed I'm talking like science over here, and then over here I'm talking yoga. I know I had not yet made any comm lines with IMC other than just showing up to class. Then as I graduate and my lines become filled with yoga, now yoga studios, businesses around the country, all kinds of stuff. And I noticed the few times I get to interact with IMC guys, I'm like, man, here I feel like I can talk about this stuff. Over here on my business lines, I can't talk about this stuff. And so as time moved forward, I started feeling, oh, I like that. Then AZD asked me to fill events. That was 4.5 years ago. 4.5 years ago. I was still doing yoga. So for about 10 months, I was really fully doing yoga and fully doing IMC. I was just, all my time was just, whenever I had time, I didn't have time. I was doing both. And that's where I really compared. We're back and forth, because now I was filling my comm lines with IMC and my comm lines were filled with yoga. And I was like, over here, I can talk all that yoga stuff, nerd out on that. But over here, I can talk anything. And if they don't want my yoga talk, it's because I can't make it interesting enough for them. Over here, they just won't allow some of the talk. And I was like, man, I really want more IMC comm lines. And that's how I would like measure my day. Then the COVID shut down everything, and I went all in on IMC. And now all my comm lines are IMC. And so it's like, even though I'm not teaching per se, I've sold a couple of products here and there. I make commissions off things and whatever. I run things. But, this is my podcast. People show up to it or whatever. My money is made off of doing this fully. The dojo, IMC, fighting. The yoga, I teach at the dojo. And that's related to girls. The girls need to learn yoga. They got to learn spiritual. They got to learn it good. Where else are they going to learn it? It fucking sucks out there. So, and I know because I've put in that work that no one will be able to measure unless they do it too. And I did that thing. I mean, I did what people can't do. Shit. To call 2,000 yoga studios, it just won't work. You won't be able to do it. Those are just numbers. That's like saying Mount Everest is 29,280 feet. Okay, that's just a number. That's easy to say. But now, do it. So, when the money, it all comes as a product, as a result of this stuff, like you're doing with the marketing, product creation, and building a base offering, and just you're in the process of negotiating and making it all work together. One day, all of your time will be dedicated to it because all of your money will be coming from it. And that's amazing, because that is already a small portion of the population are entrepreneurs. So only a small portion are in control of their money that way, making their schedule that way, whatever. But all of those entrepreneurs, take all of them and look at how all of those things that they're so good at, that they make money at, everything commodifiable that they do does not help their relationships with women at all. Not at all. And a lot of times it makes them worse. Doesn't necessarily have to. It's just as a byproduct of being so caught up in something that has nothing to do with women and females, and not at all human relations in a large sense. Just makes you worse at people, worse with people, worse at communicating, definitely worse at game with women, and you would be engaged instead in the philosophy and the activity and the mindset and the everything related to this lifestyle, which is just going to start to increase the gap faster and faster and faster between you and not just other people, but the gap between you and who you would have been if you hadn't gone down this path. Who would you have been had you not gone down this path? Man. So, not to bulldoze what you were saying, but I was so inspired by what you were saying. And all the TikTok people are enjoying it too. Guys, ask questions about bases. Okay, yeah. So, that's all exciting. Adrian Garcia, so what can you say about where would you be if you hadn't joined IMC 3.5 years ago? What would life be like? How would life be different if you hadn't joined Lion's Den 3 years ago?
Well, if I hadn't joined IMC 3 years ago, I would have probably been still in Jersey, most likely. Still with my parents, maybe, and then still like, I don't know, like I wouldn't be like motivated to change the way I am now. Like I would want to say if I wasn't with IMC, I would still like maybe be with some sort of a group, like, because I would always want to improve. That was always like my mentality. Like I always wanted to do something different and make changes. But I would say that I found the best people for that. And like if I would have not met IMC, then I would have been missing out on a lot of experiences.
Why, in your measurement, is IMC the best people for that?
Because I just sense like there's a very balanced like the way that people act and conduct themselves is very different than other people. Like we have a very strict way of conduct, like because of AZD and his philosophy. I sense like the strictness and how we should conduct ourselves as like an organization. But I also see how we're also, like you said, we have skills, but we are good with people, and that's actually one of our superpowers. Is that the fact that even though we can fight, we can, let's say, make all the money that we need. Let's say we can fix things or repair cars. No one can say that it's not more important to actually know how to connect with people, because that's what we all came here for.
Yeah, and ultimately, the kind of game that's taught here, venue game, being of value to the community, it's so much on reputation and being able to relate with people, at the highest level. So if like you're relating with top level gangsters and top level fighters, like actual lethal weapons that can kill people, and you're relating with top level restaurant owners that just have a lot of power and influence, like you're relating with these people, you can't have low character qualities that, are low value. Those people don't want to interact with you like that.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about the women. The women are a result of knowing how to interact with the men in the community, because how you interact with old people and kids and all this sort of thing. So yeah, like being a legitimate martial arts studio owner or business owner where you interact with old people, women, men of all kinds of conditions, kids, and you're teaching kids. And for many years, so you understand the psychology of how people grow and evolve and change, then you have a lot of well-roundedness to you. Now, other people out in the world that have that going for them, they're still going to be confined by their understandings of game and what's possible with influence and the limitations of their own emotional circuitry and whatever. And, so that's just what I'm inspired to say about you, because that's a keen observation. There are many groups out there, men's groups and pickup groups and all sorts of things. But when you say like well-rounded, it's interesting. When you're us in IMC, you can really smell when another pickup artist is around. You could just see it. You see it in their flamboyancy. You see it in their lone wolfing style. You see it in their extra movements and how much they're trying to. I'm not talking about the worst pickup artists. I mean, the better pickup artists. The master pickup artists, maybe they get away with not being detected in a low value way, but they'll definitely stand out in a flamboyant whatever. And when we say master pickup artists, that's so few and far between. There's not that many of those. And, so anybody else that's practicing pickup versus an IMC guy, if you see him doing game, any of the top 100 or so guys that, you know, have been around and done camps and things like that, you see them doing game, it's going to be comfortable conversation. You might see some things that they do, like lean away, over the shoulder, you know, disinterest, smile, things that are really just naturally high value things to do. It's going to be hard to determine if that's really game or not. It's just, that's proper communication. And it's just going to be very comfortable. It's going to be the kind of pickup that kids could watch happen, that your parents could watch happen. I mean, they might not be comfortable with a lot of the things, but you're not going to be violating. You're not going to be drooling over the girl. You're not going to be getting a drunk girl or getting her drunk or drinking yourself to get the girl or whatever, doing weird things, chasing pussy into the all hours of the night, sleeping in until whenever because you were out so late trying to get the last girls that were out late. It's not that game. That lets someone else teach that game. That's not the game of a player that gets multiple women. Because what would your girlfriend think if you were doing that? She wouldn't even want to be with you. What a lame man. What a lame ass. He's got nothing else going for him in his life. That's all he's got to do is chase pussy. Nuh-uh. The best thing that guy could do would be to become a promoter and somehow go into business with the clubs that he's out so late at. So it's for business that he does that. There you go. That's integrating lifestyle. Right on. So that's what we have here, an integrated lifestyle. We have a modeling agency. Girls need yoga taught to. We have a yoga studio / fighting center. Girls need self-defense taught to them. Guys need self-defense and actual fighting experience, getting punched in the face, getting choked out, choking people out, kicking people. They need fighting training experience so they can walk around like a dangerous man instead of walking around like a computer jockey, like a little twig that the wind blows over with no strength in their spine. It's essential for the quality of living to get out all of the static energy that accumulates through all of the toxic communications that we go through the day, for all the computer work and everything in sedentary lifestyle. You got to get out that energy and do it in a way that's pro-survival. Yes, for health, but yes, for self-defense and for your masculinity. And then these events that we do and the lifestyle that we have, the training that we do, is so that you're capable of living with other men. Now, when you live with other men, you should focus on tribal activities with those men and a tribal communal aspect with those men. So there's a cooperative effort to evolve, to stay tapped in with each other, to check in, to study together, to go out and game together, to explore new territories and new venues together, to allow each man to explore his expression, but also be aware of the pack. So you're doing your own thing in a pack. You're not losing yourself to the pack, and you're not losing the pack for yourself. You're part of a unit. You got to learn how to do that like it's the back of your hand, like it's just second nature, like the other way is weird. You got to learn how to operate in a pack as if operating by yourself is weird. And you need to be able to operate by yourself because, you know, the times may call for that. You got to know what to do. But you've been doing that all your life at whatever level you're at. So it's time to pack up. And then, you know, everybody starts pulling together their resources and their businesses and their creativity to create some integrated mastermind machine that is your base of operations and make that more and more attractive to the highest levels in IMC Nation, and all the doors will open for you. And you just stay on it, because there's really, if ever you feel like you're getting discouraged, I know all the guys online, including myself, have felt discouraged on this path. Just remember where you would be without it. Because you, just like all the guys on TikTok and YouTube and everybody, you see the path as shorter than it is. You see the mountain of your dreams, and it looks so close because it's so big. And the path has a bunch of hills and rocks and things that you're not seeing because it's so long. And as you walk the path, there are unavoidable obstacles, and you could give up. And if you were by yourself, it would be easier to give up. It's harder to give up when people count on it. So one of the things you can do is, when you're up, start creating an organization where people count on you, so that when you're down, you can't be down. And if you fail, then you fail and people won't follow you anymore. And then you have to rebuild yourself. But make yourself essential in a leadership role, and then you'll have to count on yourself, because up until now, a lot of times we've been doing it because other people counted on us, but they kind of put that on us like they needed us, but they just needed us so that we did that thing. They were manipulating us to do it by telling us they needed us and they like whatever, and then guilting us when we don't do it, whatever. Versus you volunteering for a position and then they need you, but you volunteered for it. So if you volunteered for it, then why would you quit on them? Okay. So that's very exciting. The evolution couldn't happen fast enough, but at the same time, it's happening right now. So the quality of this transfer of information, very important. The quality of the transfer of communication, very important. Bravery, courage, facing your life, organize it, apply intelligence, order it together so it makes sense. So there's steps to get to the next level, to ascend. Make it make sense. And then guys that are on TikTok or whatever, like, the next step is get on Alpha Academy. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's $97 a month. It's 30 lectures a month. Every day there's a lecture. You sign up. The link is in the bio. DM the account if you have any questions. Just DM and start changing your life. All of us online on Zoom, myself included, we had to consume free content for a certain amount of time in the beginning, just so that it got through to us. It took time. But once it gets through to you, don't wait. Man, sell those sneakers and buy a month of Alpha Academy and change your life. Yes, it's a rabbit hole. Yes, it goes deep, and yes, it's probably all your dreams aren't going to come true in the first month, because the mountain of your dreams it looks way closer than it is. But you got to start, man. You got to start sometime. And I think we have fallen in love with the path of evolution. And when we fall out of love with the path of evolution, it's because we're caught in the illusion that it shouldn't be how it is right now, that something should be different. It shouldn't be. You're resisting present time because you have some image that you're attached to. Other than that, we love this path. This is the path that will make you unbreakable, that will make you understand up and down, in and out, left and right, exactly what needs to be done to succeed at this level. You'll know all the wrong things and all the right things, and you'll be able to guide others, and you'll be able to demand of them the same discipline and dedication that you have demanded of yourself. And if you didn't demand that of yourself, you're not going to ever need to worry about it, because you won't succeed. But if you do, we are de-evolving. No, y'all are de-evolving. Y'all out there in TikTok space. USA is leading. Yes, that's true. USA is very leading. I agree with that. Hell yeah, Carolyn. Thanks for following. Bunch of likes came in over there. Sorry, I probably haven't seen a lot of y'all's comments if you've been commenting. Okay, any final words from the online audience? I tried to get you participate, because I know that's always fun. I don't speak Russian. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, let's see. Any comments over here on this TikTok? Okay, I answered that one. Any comments here on YouTube? Whoa, a bunch of comments. What is AZD's origin story? Thoughts on numerology? Well, obviously, come to class and ask AZD himself is going to be, more accurate. Essentially, an immigrant, left war from Iran, settled in California with his family, found martial arts, became a great martial artist, which led to an acting teacher, became a great student of that acting teacher, came back, started a martial arts studio. Long story short, found game, pickup, got really good at game, had so many women come into his martial arts studio that he had to separate it into a women's fitness center where his girlfriends would teach fitness, and then the martial arts center where guys would come also. Long story short, he sells the martial arts studio. He sells the women's fitness center. All the girls, they take their teaching online, so they just coach women online. And he took the martial arts center and just made all his money teaching the guys. The martial arts center led to him teaching mindset to the guys, because he had so much mindset from all of different things that he had done. That turned into lectures where he was giving free lectures on mindset, but also game. He learned game, so he would teach for free for years, game and mindset, eventually charging for that. Eventually charging more for that, building a business off of that. I came along at some point, bought into it, learned all of the stuff, and he asked me to work with him. So now I have grown the business. I've grown these TikToks. I've grown the YouTube channel that you're on right now, that you're commenting from. And, I've grown IMC Nation. So here's where we're at, is everything else that we just said about the guys are living together in bases. We have multiple bases. The bases are growing. There's hundreds of dedicated students around the world. There's tens of thousands of freeloaders that are watching shit. Hundreds of dedicated students, and about three dozen or so are living together in bases. And then there's a few other dozen, let's say, that are kind of close to that. If they really pushed hard, they could get into a base. I don't know what they're waiting for, really. I should at least be hearing them talk about it. I should be hearing Camilo talk about being in a base. Brother, yes, I want to start a base. And, that's what I would want to hear, because that's the top level guys. I'd want to hear about that. So that's, maybe they don't think it's real. It's like the guys online that AZD has 7 girlfriends. They don't even think it's real. They think he pays them or whatever. It's like they don't have reality on it. I'm telling you, he has 7 girlfriends. I live with the guy. It's real. And, so maybe guys that don't live in bases, they're like, that's not real for me. I don't have the money. I don't know who I would live with, blah, blah, blah. Man, if you pushed, you could make it happen. And worst case, you'll be like Adrian, who's lived in like 6 bases, but he's still in a base. He's still in a base. You know what I mean? And as soon as, if he ever is not in a base, he's going to realize how good it is in a base. And then he's going to immediately want to get in a base again. So, all right. So that's the quick story on that. Numerology. I don't really have thoughts on numerology. It's kind of interesting. It could be fascinating. Don't get too distracted with that. I like Tesla 369, blah, blah, blah. But, I just don't get too into that. There's so much else to get into. Numerology is not going to help you relate with women, not going to help you relate with your parents. It's just not going to help, really. Learn to relate with your parents. Learn to relate with women in the long term. Learn to relate with kids. Then talk to me about numerology, is what I think about it. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Sign up for the programs in the bio. Guys that are watching the recordings, you could sign up. The description is posted. Guys online here will be in Los Angeles this weekend. Also, Skinwalker just came out. That's an advanced training. And we have Living the Process. Come stay residency for a week at Base 1. And, it's very affordable. It's incredible. You'll go out with us 2 or 3 nights and you'll live here. You'll recalibrate everything. It'll be wonderful. I recommend that for the higher level guys. Os, everybody. Jay Guru Dev. Praise the Lord.